Many couples start with passion, but as the years pass, even the strongest marriages face hidden pitfalls, unspoken frustrations, growing distances, and silent battles that chip away at happiness. Some women unknowingly make small mistakes that push their husbands away, while others struggle to keep the warmth alive in a relationship that now feels more like routine than romance. But here's the good news. A thriving, peaceful marriage isn't about luck. It's about understanding the 3 key lessons that can keep love alive, even in old age. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll discover a powerful yet simple strategy to protect your relationship and your well-being. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. 1. Don't undermine your husband's dignity. Imagine standing by a tranquil lake early in the morning. The water is still, mirroring the soft hues of the sky, peaceful and undisturbed. Now, imagine picking up a small stone and tossing it in. The ripples expand outward, disrupting the perfect calm. It's just a single stone, but its impact spreads far beyond where it lands. The same happens in a marriage. A single careless remark, one sharp jab, one dismissive comment, can send waves of pain and resentment through a relationship, disturbing its harmony in ways we don't always see immediately. There's a saying I've always found true: a marriage is like a delicate garden. Kind words help it flourish, while criticism dries up its roots. Think about that for a moment. The way we speak to our partner, especially as the years pass, determines whether love continues to bloom or withers away into something unrecognizable. Let me tell you a story about Henry and Linda Johnson. They were married for over 40 years. In their younger days, Linda was a powerhouse, ambitious, driven, and full of energy. She ran her career with precision, managed the home efficiently, and took care of their children. Henry, a quiet and patient man, admired her strength and never minded letting her take charge. But as time went on, something shifted. Linda's words, once filled with affection, turned critical. She would sigh at his forgetfulness, roll her eyes at his slower pace, and constantly point out his shortcomings. At first, these were just small, seemingly harmless comments at home. "Can't you ever do things right?" But then it started happening in public. She'd chuckle with friends and say, "I do everything. Henry just sits around." At family gatherings, she'd make offhand jokes, "Your father's been useless since the day I married him." It was all meant to be playful, of course. She never intended to hurt him. But the thing about words is that they don't disappear when the conversation ends. They linger. They settle deep inside the person who hears them, shaping how they see themselves. For years, Henry endured it in silence. He convinced himself it didn't matter. He told himself it was just Linda being Linda. But one evening, as they sat around the dinner table with their grown children, Linda made another dismissive remark. This time, Henry put his fork down, looked at her, and asked softly but firmly, "Have I ever been a real husband to you, or just someone you tolerate?" The room fell silent. Linda's laughter faded. Their children exchanged uneasy glances. In all their decades together, Henry had never spoken up like that. And in that moment, Linda realized something devastating. She had broken something in him. Something that couldn't be undone. From that night on, their marriage was never the same. They still lived under the same roof, shared the same bed, and ate at the same table. But the warmth was gone. What once was a partnership built on love had turned into mere coexistence. Two people simply sharing a space, but not a life. Now, let's contrast this with another couple, David and Susan Carter, who had been married for 50 years. Susan once shared the secret to their lasting love: a man needs to feel respected, just as a woman needs to feel loved. She understood something profound. Belittling her husband would never strengthen their bond. Even when frustrated, even when he made mistakes, she chose to handle those moments privately, with care and understanding. She never ridiculed him in front of others, never made him feel small. And because of that, their marriage remained strong, even through the toughest times. Research backs this up. Dr. John Gottman, one of the most respected marriage experts, found that contempt, belittling, mocking, or ridiculing a partner is the #1 predictor of divorce. Not just occasional arguments or disagreements, but contempt. That slow, steady erosion of respect that, over time, leaves a relationship beyond repair. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending frustrations don't exist. It's about recognizing that words have power, the power to build up or to tear down. And once spoken, they can't be taken back. So I ask you this. How would your marriage change if, in those moments of irritation, you chose to respond with patience instead of criticism? If, instead of highlighting his flaws, you reminded him of his strengths? What if, instead of making jokes at his expense, you uplifted him? The truth is, that respect isn't about submission. It's not about pretending your husband is perfect. It's about recognizing that dignity is the foundation of love. And if you tear it down, don't be surprised when the love crumbles with it. So here's my challenge to you. Guard your tongue. Speak kindly at home. Never embarrass your spouse in public. Choose words that nurture rather than wound. Because at the end of the day, the strength of a marriage isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on the small, daily choices we make to cherish, uplift, and protect the heart of the person we vowed to love. And trust me, this lesson is just the beginning. Later, I'll show you how this ties into another vital truth, one that could make all the difference in your relationship. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. 2. Trust, but not blindly. Trust is the heartbeat of any marriage, the steady rhythm that keeps love alive. But just like a heartbeat, it needs balance. Too much hesitation and the relationship weakens. Too much blind faith and I collapse under its weight. There's a fine line between trust and naivety, and every woman must learn to walk it wisely. As an old proverb says, a wise woman trusts with her heart, but thinks with her mind. Love your husband with all your soul, but never abandon your common sense. Let me tell you a story, one that many women, unfortunately, can relate to in some way. Margaret Reynolds believed she had the perfect marriage. For decades, she adored her husband, Paul, a man who, on the surface, seemed reliable, predictable, and safe. He was not a drinker, not a gambler, not a man who stayed out late or gave her any reason to worry. So she did what so many wives do, she trusted him completely. When it came to their finances, she handed over the reins without a second thought. "He takes care of everything," she would say with a smile whenever friends urged her to keep some savings of her own. "Paul knows what he's doing." For years, she lived in blissful ignorance, believing they were building a secure future together. She never questioned where their money was going, never checked their accounts, never asked for details. Why would she? He was her husband. He loved her. And love, she thought, meant never having to worry. Then came the day when her world came crashing down. Margaret decided to check their retirement account, a moment she thought would bring reassurance, perhaps even pride in the life they had built together. Instead, she felt the blood drain from her face as she stared at the numbers on the screen. Most of their savings were gone. Vanished. Her hands trembled as she dug deeper, uncovering years of reckless investments that Paul had never told her about. But the worst was yet to come. As she combed through the bank statements, a sickening realization hit her. There were mysterious withdrawals, transfers to an unknown account, large sums of money that she had never approved. Doubt crept into her mind, twisting her stomach into knots. She tried to push it away, tried to tell herself there had to be an explanation. But deep down, she already knew. One evening, her heart pounding, she decided to follow Paul when he said he had a business meeting. She didn't want to. She hated the idea of being suspicious. But something inside her refused to be silenced. What she saw that night shattered her. Paul, sitting in a dimly lit restaurant, laughing, his hand resting gently on the hand of a younger woman. the warmth in his eyes, the attention he gave her. It was the way he used to look at Margaret. When she confronted him, her voice shaking, he simply shrugged. "You never asked, so I didn't tell you." And just like that, everything she thought she knew about her life crumbled. Margaret wasn't just left heartbroken, she was left unprotected. She had no financial security of her own, no savings tucked away, no backup plan. She had trusted Paul to take care of them both, and now she was standing in the ruins of that trust, wondering how she had let this happen. And the truth is, Margaret's story isn't unique. A study by the American Psychological Association found that financial infidelity, hiding money, secret spending, or undisclosed financial decisions, affects 1 in 3 marriages. And the consequences can be devastating, especially for older women who have spent decades relying on their spouses for financial stability. Here's the lesson: trust your husband, but verify. This isn't about being paranoid. It's not about assuming the worst or living in fear. It's about protecting yourself. Keep an eye on your shared finances. Ask questions. Make sure your name is on important accounts. And most importantly, maintain a personal savings fund. Even if you never need it, having that security will give you peace of mind. Because trust should never mean surrendering control over your well-being. This leads us to the final and most crucial lesson, one that could determine how strong you stand when life throws its unexpected storms your way. 3. Never surrender all your money. Money isn't just about wealth, it's about security, dignity, and independence. There's an old saying, whoever holds the purse strings holds their freedom. And sadly, many people realize this truth only when it's too late. Nancy Mitchell was one of them. In her younger years, she believed in full financial trust within marriage. Every paycheck she earned went directly into her husband's hands. "He's responsible," she would say, brushing off concerns from friends who suggested she keep a private savings account. She never imagined she'd regret that decision. But retirement came, and with it, a harsh reality. One evening, she casually asked her husband about their savings, expecting reassurance that they were financially secure. Instead, he shrugged and admitted, "I used most of it on different things. There's not much left." Nancy was stunned. The money she had spent decades working for was gone. And with it, her financial independence. Now, every little expense required her husband's approval. A simple trip to the grocery store? She had to ask for money. A small gift for a grandchild? "We can't afford that," he'd say. She had unknowingly surrendered control over her own life. Sadly, Nancy's story isn't unique. A 2023 report from the National Endowment for Financial Education revealed that 40% of women over 50 have little to no personal savings. Many find themselves financially dependent and stuck in situations where they lack control over even basic decisions. The solution is simple. Always keep a portion of your money in your name. It doesn't have to be a large sum, just enough to ensure that you never feel powerless. Financial independence isn't just about having money, it's about having choices. Whether you're married, widowed, or single, make sure you maintain access to personal funds. Life is unpredictable, and financial security is one of the greatest protections you can give yourself. Never surrender all your money. Your future self will thank you. Marriage in old age isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, thoughtful choices that build security and happiness. These 3 lessons, preserving his dignity, trusting wisely, and securing financial independence, aren't about mistrust or selfishness. They're about balance. Imagine your marriage as a house. He is the foundation, you are the roof. If the foundation crumbles, the house collapses. If the roof is weak, it offers no protection. But when built with care, the house stands strong, sheltering love for a lifetime. Now, take a moment to reflect. What have you learned from this video? What is one lesson you will put into practice in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and insights could inspire someone else to make positive changes. If you found this video valuable, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more wisdom on aging, relationships, and well-being. See you in the next video.